Vice President, or soon-to-be Vice President rather, JD Vance absolutely brutalizes Dana Bash of CNN after she tries and fails to put him to bed for the night. Guys, this is going to be a fun one. I know you're going to like it. The media has just gone schizo ever since JD Vance has gotten picked. They hate him. They hate his guts. That much is patently obvious. But unfortunately for them, JD Vance will not go down without a fight. And that's exactly what happened over here, and you guys are going to love it. So everybody, we're going to get right into the video. But first, please be sure to like our video, share it around. Yes, subscribe if you are new. And if you're coming back, hey, you're awesome. Thank you so much. As always, guys, I'm your host, Darian. Let's get into the video.
Governor Walz has called you and Donald Trump, and that is weird.
Sure.
And it is taken off. The New York Times reports that when Donald Trump was asked about it, he said, "Not me, they're talking about JD."
Well, certainly they've levied that charge against me more than anybody else, but I think that it drives home how they're trying to distract from their own policy failures. I mean, look, this is fundamentally schoolyard bully stuff. They can accuse me of whatever they want to accuse me of. As Harry S. Truman once said, if you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen. And I'm doing this because I think that me being vice president will help improve people's lives. So I accept their attacks, but I think that it is a little bit of projection, Dana. If you think about just take a couple of days ago. Tim Walz gives this big speech. He's been announced as the VP nominee. And I remember when I had just been announced as the VP nominee, I gave my big speech and I saw my wife and I gave her a big hug and a kiss because I love my wife and I think that's what a normal person does. Tim Walz gave his wife a nice, firm Midwestern handshake and then tried to sort of awkwardly correct for it. So I think that what it is two people, Kamala Harris and Tim Walz, who aren't comfortable in their own skin because they aren't comfortable with their policy positions for the American people. And so they're name calling instead of actually telling the American people how they're going to make their lives better. I think that's weird, Dana, but look, they can call me whatever they want to.
You're saying Tim Walz doesn't have affection for his wife? I don't even understand that.
I said that he acted weird, which he did, on a national stage in front of his wife and in front of millions of Americans who presumably were watching at home. And I think that it's projection, Dana. Look, I think
Tim Walz's wife is pretty weird too. Fun fact, if you haven't seen this, there's actually a video of her talking about the BLM riots where she was basically saying she relished in the smell of burning tires and left her window open during the riots so she could smell it as long as possible. Yeah, that's not a joke. Look it up.
I think this election should be about who's going to solve the inflation crisis, who's going to make groceries and housing more affordable, who's going to secure that southern border. Kamala Harris's record is that she supported all the policies that made that problem worse, Dana. We're trying to say we're going to take the country in a different direction. I really think that it's important to point this out, Dana. Their entire campaign has not been about, here's our policy for how we're going to make your life better, or here's what's wrong with Donald Trump and JD Vance's policies. We're going to name call and hope that you don't notice that we don't have an agenda. That is the entire Democrat approach to this.
Speaking of having no agenda, I think we could very easily say that about Joe Biden and this disastrous economy he's inflated. Guys, I went to McDonald's the other day and they wanted, I don't know, 10 bucks for a Big Mac. It's insane. All right, but luckily there are some things you can do and try to mitigate it. And that is why I have decided to partner with Goldco. Why do this, you may ask? Real simple, guys. As the value of the dollar has dropped historically, the value of gold has gone up. Gold, in my opinion, is a great hedge against inflation. So I recommend you check it out and you can learn more. Guys, just go to rtmgold.com. You can click on the link in the description or type in your web browser. What's more, you can get a free gold kit to help you make this decision. Yes, that's right, free. So head on over to rtmgold.com. You can go to the link in the description or type it in your web browser. And we have plenty of great people at Goldco who can help you out, our expert advisors. They can show you the ropes and tell you all about it. So check it out, guys, rtmgold.com.
Have an agenda. That is the entire Democrat approach to this election.
They have done both. They have both policies, and they are trying to define
Dana,
you as well.
If you go to Kamala Harris's campaign page right now, they still don't have a policy.
Well, let's talk about
policy
versus
positions about what they're going to do. I think that's really insulting to Americans.
You started out talking about the policies in this interview, but you have been on the campaign trail questioning Tim Walz's military record. You say it was shameful that Governor Walz retired from the military before his unit deployed to Iraq. I want to read you something that Joe Eustace, who is a veteran, he served with Governor Walz, said. He said that's a lie. He said he was as good a soldier as you'll find. I'm not trying to defend him. I hope people don't think that. What I'm trying to do is defend someone who served his country. I'm not voting for him. I'll campaign against him.
You hear this double talk? I'm not trying to defend him, but I'm trying to defend somebody who served this country. It's so disingenuous. Yeah, you are trying to defend him. Stop it with this whole, oh, I'm neutral and unbiased shtick. It's so dumb. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't seem to see through it, but all the real ones do. We all know what's up.
But I don't think it's fair to characterize his service the way they have. Governor Walz served 24 years.
Sure.
He even stayed after he could have retired because of 9/11, more than the country asked of him. Do you honor his service?
Well, of course, Dana, I honor his service, and I've never criticized what Tim Walz did when he was in the military. I criticized his retirement decision, and most importantly, Dana, I criticized his lying about his own record, okay? This is a guy who is captured on video saying, I carried a gun in war. He never went to war. This is a guy who's been captured on video, as other people say he's an Afghanistan veteran. He's a veteran of a war, nodding along in agreement instead of saying, no, I did serve my country and I did it honorably, but I never went to a war zone. I'm not criticizing Tim Walz's service. I'm criticizing the fact that he lied about his service for political gain, Dana. Now, I served in the United States Marine Corps, and you know this. And look, there are a lot of things that I'm proud about. I've never lied about what I did or overstated it because it would be beneficial to me in an election. I think that's what Tim Walz did. That's what I was criticizing. And yes, I do think it's scandalous behavior.
By the way, when Walz was talking about how he was supposedly taking weapons of war into war, which, as JD Vance pointed out, is a complete lie, he was using this to push an anti-Second Amendment gun control agenda to establish some kind of false credibility about the whole thing. Totally disingenuous.
Talked about one of the things that he said, weapons of war. He was talking in a campaign stop about, he was trying to talk about gun control.
Sure.
And he said, weapons of war I carried in war. I will say that the Harris-Walz campaign did say that the governor misspoke there.
Sure.
Do you accept that?
He misspoke. Another word is that he lied about it, and he didn't correct the record for 15 years until he was put under political pressure because I called it out, Dana. Whatever you want to call it, a misspeaking or a lie, I think Tim Walz should have to correct the record. Now, you pointed out a soldier who defended his service. There have been a number of soldiers who served with Tim Walz who have criticized him on the exact same grounds that I have because it's not right to misstate or to embellish what you've done, and I think that's what he did.
And on the question of when he left the National Guard, he filed his election paperwork February 10th, 2005. That was a month before the National Guard even announced that it was possible that they would deploy to Iraq, and it ended up being 2 months. He retired 2 months before they actually got the paperwork.
But on
Pay attention to the way she speaks here. This is what you call lying with facts, and CNN is great at doing it.
CNN last night, Dana, one of the people who was actually in charge of him said they knew they were going to deploy to Iraq in February of 2004, fall of 2004. So he knew he was going to Iraq. He decided to quit, to retire, whatever word you want to use.
Retire.
Because he wanted to run for Congress. He lied about that. He said that when he decided to retire, he did not know that he was going to Iraq. That is another untruth, as even his senior military officer said. So again, I'm not criticizing the service. I'm criticizing the dishonesty. Dishonesty spoken in favor and for the purpose of political benefit. And I think that the most important thing here, Dana, is it goes to Kamala Harris's judgment. Tim Walz is ultimately going to be the vice president. Kamala Harris is in great health. I'm sure she's going to be president if she wins for 4 or maybe even 8 years. Why did Kamala Harris choose a person who has lied about their military service? I think that is a serious lapse in judgment. And I don't want to hear from a campaign spokesperson of Kamala Harris. I want to hear Kamala Harris herself address what I just said.
You know, I've seen...
Walz is what I like to call a fake veteran, okay? And I know people are going to get offended by that, but look, even if he actually was a veteran, he's spiritually completely fake. And he gave that away himself when he lied about being in war in order to push an anti-Second Amendment, anti-American agenda. So I will not apologize for saying that. All right, now let's hear an even juicier part of the interview.
States.
Okay, one last question.
Please.
And I can't believe I have to ask you this, but I do, because Donald Trump has been attacking Kamala Harris's racial identity.
He has not been, but ask your question.
Well, he questioned her racial identity. He said a number of years ago she happened to turn black. Her father is Jamaican. Do you believe Kamala Harris is black?
I believe that Kamala Harris is whatever she says she is, but I believe importantly that President Trump is right that she's a chameleon. She pretends to be one thing in front of one audience. She pretends to be something different in front of another audience. Look, Dana, she's not running a political campaign. She's running a movie. She only speaks to voters behind a teleprompter. Everything is scripted. She doesn't have her policy positions out there. She hasn't answered why she wanted to ban fracking, but now she doesn't. She wanted to fund police, but now she doesn't. She wanted to open the border, but now she doesn't. She should have to answer for why she presents a different set of policies to one audience and a different set of policies to another audience. And I think that's what President Trump is getting at. This is a fundamentally fake person. She's different depending on who she's in front of.
With respect, you
Please.
changed your position on an important thing, which is Donald Trump.
Of course I did.
And so why are
honest
you not a
about it.
chameleon?
Because, Dana, I've explained to the American people what's different. People change their minds when the facts change, they should. But if you want to be the people's vice president or president, you should have to stand before an interviewer and say, this is why I changed my mind. So to everybody who's seen that I criticized Donald Trump, since he asked the question, here are two things.
You didn't just criticize him. You said he could be America's Hitler.
Well, that's a criticism, and I didn't say that exactly, but set that to the side. What I said about Donald Trump and what I believed about Donald Trump, two things that really changed. First of all, I didn't think Donald Trump would be a good president. He was a great president. Wages were rising. The world was more peaceful. Remember, when Donald Trump was running for president the first time, they said he would start World War III. He brought more peace to the world than any president of my lifetime. The second thing, Dana, is I believed, and I'm ashamed of it, I believed a lot of the media lies about Donald Trump in 2016. I believe that he said things like, for example, the media said Donald Trump accused all Mexicans of being rapists and criminals. You actually look at what he said, he did not say that at all. And I think
I will say, I do respect him admitting he's wrong. Is Kamala Harris ever going to do that? We'll see. I think we know the answer, though.
it's important when you see something, you change your mind, and that's all I've done. And my pitch to the American people would be, I imagine a lot of folks who are thinking about voting for Donald Trump in 2024, maybe they've bought in to the media lies about him. Think for yourself, look at what he actually said, and I think you'll find that he's, one, a very engaging guy, but two, was a very good president.
There aren't media lies. We play him and we let him speak for himself, and so people are getting exactly.
I'm not accusing you of lying,
No, I know,
Dana.
I
You know I like you, but
No,
the
I know
media
you're not.
lies from time to
I know
time
you're
about
not, but
Donald Trump.
people hear him for himself. Last question.
Please.
Well, he probably should accuse her of lying. Remember when her network, CNN, was going, Russia, 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 for about, I don't know, 3.5 years of Trump's presidency? And that was all proven to be complete bullshit? Yeah, but the media doesn't lie. Okay. And an honorable mention goes to the fine people on both sides hoax that the media pushed, CNN being chief among them, saying that Donald Trump said that Ku Klux Klan members and Nazis are good people. Guess what? No such phrase ever happened. Don't believe me? Watch the full speech for yourself instead of reading a stupid headline that CNN peddles.
Are you going to debate Tim Walz?
Of course. I want to debate Tim Walz. I think it's important, and I think that it goes to a very fundamental difference between the Trump-Vance ticket and our opposition. We believe in talking to the media. We believe in answering questions. We believe in debating. I think it's really important. I mean, look, I'm asking the American people to make me their vice president. It's really important to stand before the American people to make that case, and I'm going to keep on doing it in whatever forum I get the opportunity.
We look forward to it. Thank you so much
Thanks,
for
Dana.
sitting down and taking.
Well, everybody, that does it for that interview. We truly hope you enjoyed the video. Please be sure to comment below. Let us know what you liked, what you want to see next, and also, I don't know, how do you think JD Vance did? Tell us about that too. Thanks so much for tuning in, and God bless.